Okay. All right. Okay. Hey guys, Helen Hernandez Archer here with Lux Living Properties at Compass in Atlanta. And today we're going to be talking about how much is it going to cost you to sell your home. We're going to be talking about 3 ways that you pay agents or non-agents to sell your home. Number 1 is a transaction fee. Transaction fees are paid by the seller to the broker to basically babysit or write the contract and babysit the file all the way to closing. And when I say babysit, it's making sure that the lender is doing their job in sending an appraiser if it's a buyer that has required a loan, if it's that make sure that the financing contingencies are cleared, and also make sure that the title and the closing attorney is checking everything in regards to the home to get it to closing. Typically, a transaction fee is paid by the seller, although in any market it could be split by both parties. But typically in Atlanta, the seller pays for 1% to 2% of the transaction fee. And what it does is basically they may have already a buyer, okay? And they don't know how to do the contracts, and they hire a broker to write a contract and make sure that it's followed upon all the way to closing, and that's what we call a transaction fee. And why is it a transaction fee? It's because the agent is not representing either party. Those 2 parties have come into an agreement, so there is no agency involved. And when we say agency, that means that there is no client relationship that is representing anyone particularly. Number 2 is a flat fee. Typically, you have that flat fee with either discount brokers who charge just a nominal fee for putting the home on the MLS, and they don't market the home. They just put it on the MLS, and then as a seller, you will pay a la carte for all the services, say the professional photography, the drone, it could be the floor plans, the matterboard, the marketing, or whatever else that you want to be paid for. Then that's separate, but it's basically a flat fee you pay to put it on the MLS. Now, some sellers could also use a flat fee for whenever they don't want to pay a percentage of the purchase price. For example, I, Mr. Seller, want to sell a home $500,000, and I don't want to pay more than 2% of the property because I know that it's a seller's market. So I may get an offer for $550,000. So I don't necessarily want to pay more than 2% in commission. So I will choose the flat fee, and that means that I'm just going to charge an agent that represents the buyer or myself as a seller, that it will be just a flat fee of $500. Probably nobody will do it for that, but typically it's a flat fee of $1,500, $5,000. Whatever it is that you really want to sell for, that's the flat fee you choose. That's okay. The third option is the commissions. That is more of a traditional way of charging, as brokerages charge the sellers to sell homes. And typically you have within the commissions, you have a range of commissions, typically a buyer's agent that you have to pay and the listing agent that you have to pay. If you're a for sale by owner, you will probably pay the 3% of the buyer's agent that will come and bring you a buyer. As a seller on a full service brokerage, you will have the percentage that you pay the listing agent and the percentage that you pay the buyer's agent. In the market we're in, there's a lot of different things that you need to know about this. Be very careful. You get what you pay for, right? That means that typically I'm hearing a lot of people who say, well, I don't want to use a full service agent because I can actually have XYZ company sell it for me for 1.5%. And that's not your typical full brokerage commission, okay? And there's a market for that. But be careful that that 1.5% doesn't turn into a lot of other fees because you're trying to save that extra 1.5%. And let me disclose, in Atlanta, typically the listing agents charge between 2 to 3%. More than likely it's 3%. So if you're paying 1.5%, which is half of that 3%, typically what happens is that there's some hidden fees and fine print in there that, all in all, you could be leaving a lot of money on the table. So let's recap. There's 3 ways that you could pay commissions and how you could sell your home in different ways. Number 1 is the transaction fees. It's typically the fee that you're putting in the contract. Is somebody putting the contract together, and you will pay that agent to put the contract together and write it up and make sure and follow up with everybody involved in the transaction. Number 2 is a flat fee that you pay for the whole transaction, and they don't, in that case, you may be represented and get agency, like representation as a client. And then their third would be commissions. The commissions are variable in this market. They are negotiable, but be careful that you're really reading the fine print, what you're paying for, because chances are you may be leaving a lot of money on the table. So there you have it. Now you have learned how you could sell your home and the different ways that you could pay an agent or maybe a company to sell your home. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and press the notification bell so you're notified every time we release a new video. My name is Helen Hernandez Archer, and I'm with Lux Living Properties here in Atlanta. Take action.